Be back in 2020. Anyway, my name is Ian Rollins, on coach Earl Baston, and at the controls, Don Baxter. Good afternoon to you, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good day. Good. Good. All had a great 48 hours.
It was good.
It was great.
Yeah.
Good. Just to let our listeners know that today we will have a number of guests join us in the studio. Of course, we will have Sue Ellen Warwick will be joining us. As you know, she got her pro card Saturday night in the international event, big event at the City Bridge Academy. Number of Marines participated, so I'm sure we'll get more stories and information on that. Dave Wolf, or Fit for Life, will be joining us at 1:15. He's got a new product that he's coming out, nutritional product that we sharing with us on Inside Sports in 2020.
Okay.
He's going to discuss that and more. And of course, we got Gavin Manders joining us today on tennis, just after about 1:30, 1:35. And also, I forgot to mention, we've got the CEO here, Mr. Patrick Singleton of WADA on the ban with Russia, the Olympics, joining us at about 20 to 1. I'm sorry, 20 to 1. So that's what we are lined up today. And of course, I'm a happy camper with my sports. Liverpool won, the 49ers won, the Lakers won.
As long as they lost. Not to worry, St. George lost too.
I was going to say something that lost, but I went 3 out of 4, so I'm not too disgruntled or upset about that.
Boy.
I did tell my Arsenal fans, there's a badge that I have. I learned in Cub Scouts. I earned about 4 or 5 different badges, and it's a possibility I could be a coach for Arsenal one day.
There's a lot of people that could coach Arsenal.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
They'll be all right.
They'll be all right. They play West Ham today. That's a big game with both teams.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. I haven't heard from my mate Clyde Besley.
The pressure's on. He's probably there.
He's probably there.
Yeah, he's probably there.
Okay, all right.
London
so if they win, I'll hear from him.
London Derby.
If they win, I'll hear from him.
Well, it's like a lot of people that support English teams in Bermuda. Yeah. When the team loses, they go around Masters or Gorham's and get a shovel, dig a big hole, and dig it in. Yeah. and it only suffers when the team wins. So you know how it is. You know how it is, Don. It's one of those things. So if West Ham win, you'll probably hear from Guy.
Okay. Yeah. And if Arsenal wins, I hear from all the Arsenal.
Oh, trust me, they will be lining up at the door. We're back. Yeah, we're back
after one win.
Oh, sure. Well, you know what that means. Yeah. At least for a few hours, they can crow.
Well, let me put it out there to the Arsenal people. If you do win this afternoon, I'm not going to bust your bubble. I'm just going to buy the facts that are in front of me, off my memory, I should say. They play City, I think, in 2 games or a game after. That's not an easy task.
Well, they got to be licking their wounds after Manchester United beat them.
Yeah, but that's 2 different teams. This is Arsenal and Man United.
Well, you know how it is when teams want to get up for a big game and a big rivalry and all that. I think the players take a different stance on it. I honestly believe, looking at Arsenal the other day against Brighton, I believe.
Yeah.
They were just it almost looked like they felt as if they could score at any time, they can do whatever they wanted to, and when the chips got down, it all became a struggle.
Well, they're right back. Ballerini said best. He said, "We don't know what we're doing. We're lost. We're confused."
Yeah.
Tylenol helps.
Where's all those people who wanted the coach out a few years ago?
Well,
you know what you have.
Well,
you just don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Well, Sue Ellen is here. She's in the studio. We'll bring her in. Of course, we'll talk more football later for the Arsenal people. I know you want to talk more and share some information, so you can give us a call, Arsenal people, at 292-959.
They ain't calling today.
They ain't calling today? They're calling next week. Tomorrow.
Listen, as someone from Arsenal told me yesterday, Arsenal can't ruin my week because we play on Monday night. Couldn't ruin the last week because they play on Monday night.
So starting the week, it could be ruined?
He'll worry about that today.
I hope they watch Arsenal football TV on YouTube.
I don't think they want to watch it right now.
I can make a copy for them. All right, let's take a commercial break, and we'll be back after this. to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio is Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen, which one is it today?
Lattimore.
Lattimore. Okay, I said Ward's going to the commercial break. Forgive me. Sue Ellen Lattimore.
I will always be a Ward.
You always be a Ward. That's how I know he is Ward, right?
Yes.
From high school to now, I know he is a Ward.
That's right.
Okay, cool. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
This is an event or sport that you've been participating in for 20 plus years.
Yes.
And you've been rewarded a pro card, not one but two in one night. I think that's history in the making. Explain to us first and foremost, what was it like being on stage on Saturday night?
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was me. I felt that it was my time. I had put in the work. When I found out that an international show was going to be hosted in Bermuda, I said, this is it. It's all or nothing. And I put all into it. I started January. I've been grinding since January.
Wow.
Yes.
So when you say grinding since January, let our listeners know what that means. Because obviously your body, your mind, your nutrition, your training changes probably every 6 weeks. It doesn't stay the same. Explain to us what it entails.
I started to, I made the decision in January that I wanted to compete in the show. So it gave me 12 months.
Right.
Well, 11 months to get ready and prepare my mind, my body, and with diet and training, and I went to the Olympia this year, and that inspired me. I met everyone, all the pros, inspired me, and I came back, and it was on.
It was on.
Yes. So my brother saw all the work that I had been doing. He was liking how I was looking, and he said, "You know what? We need to get a second eye." And I hired a
trainer.
No, a coach.
A coach. Oh, sorry.
Yes, a nutritional coach. Shelby Stearns, and he dialed me in 2 months before the show.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What's so different as you prepare for this one as in the past? You've been in the sport, like I said, for 20 plus years. What's different about it? Mentally, yes, you dialed yourself in. I guess it's more so because the international event was held here in Bermuda. Was that a way of putting things in perspective for this event?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Because it was a pro show.
Right.
And you can bring your pro card.
Right.
The Bermuda show, you win, but you don't win a pro card. This was it. This is all or nothing.
Right.
So I put the time in, I put the work in.
Right. Now, what was it like then competing against the international competitors on your home soil?
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah. I loved every minute of it. I'm competitive, Ian.
Right.
We go way back.
Way back, right.
I'm competitive, and I wanted that. That's what I like.
All right.
I like to be. I'm competitive, and I want to compete against people in the same sport as me.
When you first looked at your opponents in each class, did you feel as if, okay, this is almost going to be a walk in the park, but I still have to perform?
You got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not to be sound,
Right.
Yes. You're confident. You're confident.
Yes, I'm confident.
Right.
But I felt good. But I knew I had done the work.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you've done the work, you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
And I was ready a month prior.
Oh, okay.
I was ready.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
When the show started in the evening, the finals, they started with fitness, and there were, obvious. I'm not a judge or anything, but I can clearly see mistakes were made by people, and I could see how upset they were.
Yes.
When you go through a routine of what you're doing and you're regimented, is there any fear for you yourself when you're out there ready to perform that? Yeah, I might miss a pose. I might miss this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Everybody has that nervousness in them.
Right.
But for some reason, I just felt ready.
Okay.
I didn't have that this year. I've had it in the past.
Right.
Even coming onto the stage in Bermuda, I've had that little jitter, the butterflies before I got on stage.
Right.
But this time I was ready.
Mm.
This time I was ready, and I nailed it. I look back on the routine and.
Do you at any time sense that you might get caught up in the crowd as opposed to focusing on what you do, or you just shut that all out?
No, shut it out.
Okay.
Shut it out. I shut it out.
You're
I'm
one
focused.
that's able to do that.
Yes.
There are some that can't. They get all emotional. They get all caught up in hearing their name.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's adrenaline. that makes you want to keep going.
Right.
And just perfecting your craft as they watch.
Right.
Right.
Well, obviously it's anxious moments when you're standing there before the announcement's made because they count down.
Yeah.
Or count up, whichever way you want to say it. But standing there when it's just you and the last opponent, What goes through one's mind? I got this. I know it's mine. It's
I was just waiting for them to announce it. You know, it's gonna go either way.
right.
Either way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just exciting. I'm just so excited and happy. And
What tips did the judges give you after the event, after seeing you perform? And did you have a chance to talk to anyone?
no,
No.
no,
Okay.
no. They were pleased.
Okay. Well, they showed it. They showed it.
They were pleased.
What was it like having this nutritionist you had hired 2 months prior to the event? What was the difference there, or advice and stuff that he gave you
Oh
that
my
you've never
God.
been through before?
Oh, it was countless pictures,
Uh-huh.
check-ins, very professional, diet changing. Every time he looked at my body, it was amazing.
Really?
Oh, it was.
So you're saying your diet basically changed every 2 weeks,
It
every
changed.
week?
It changed when he looked at me. He looked at me every 2 days. Every 2 days, I checked in.
So
And
you
he wanted,
changed your
and he
diet
wanted
that
not
often?
every 2 days.
Okay.
I'm saying like if he can see if I had enough rest, or if I didn't drink enough water, he can tell that, you know, if I look tired, you know,
Wow.
did you have enough rest? Did you have enough water? That probably, you know, I would add on a pound. I was fluctuating between 136, 133, 137. I kept fluctuating, so that would determine how much water I drank or how much rest I got. It shows in the body, right?
Okay.
So because he's a professional at what he does, he knows this.
Mm.
So then he would say, make sure you get 7.5 hours sleep. Make sure you drink this amount of water, you know, and then check in with me. But as it got closer to the show, it was like pictures every half an hour, every 45 minutes. It was work.
Oh.
And I want the same lighting as you had before, so I had to go to where I was
previously.
Right.
previously to
And
get
get
the same
same
lighting,
lighting,
because
yeah.
sometimes I was in dark and the lighting wasn't bright enough,
Right.
so he couldn't see,
Right.
you know, so he wanted to see everything. So he was amazing. You know, he was
Okay.
amazing. I also had a posing coach, Kenny Wallet.
Okay.
Yes, and he was amazing as well.
Dang.
See, people don't know how much goes into.
Nobody knows how much goes into
They
it
just think that
unless
you're in the gym, you're doing weights, you're
Right.
doing
Yeah.
this, you're doing that. They don't know that it's artistic.
it's artistic. It takes hard work and dedication, you know, and focus. I was focused.
Yeah.
I had to cut everybody out,
Right.
and it was about me. When you all was sleeping, I was grinding.
Got you.
When you all was sleeping, I was grinding. Evening, morning, and night.
Dang.
Morning and
7
night.
days a week.
7 days a week.
Okay. Fair enough. Now that you've won this award and much deserved, you put in the time, put in the hard work for you. What's next going forward now that you have your pro card? Pro cards. Is it pro card or pro cards?
Well, I won 2 pro cards, but you can only be a
You-
pro. Yeah,
right.
a pro.
Right.
Right. But I won 2 pro cards that night.
Okay.
Yes, because I entered those events.
Okay.
And I won those events.
So you want one pro card.
So, next is my pro debut.
Mhm.
And not sure yet. Have to strategize what I want to do.
So when you say strategize, something within the next 3 months, 4 months, do you think?
Hopefully 2020. I don't want to take it too long. I am up there.
Right. You know, okay.
No, I don't. I probably don't look it, but
No,
you know.
I know. There you go.
Yeah, 2000. I'm not sure yet.
Right.
I just wanted to show. Let me give me some time to think. Some time to think about which show I would like to do.
Right.
And what class, or would you do both classes again?
And which class? I haven't
Right.
decided yet.
Right.
You know,
Is it
obviously
difficult?
I would have to put on size, break it back down,
Right.
depending on what I do.
Right.
You know, so
Is it difficult getting ready for multiple classes in a show?
it depends on the individual and their physique and what they're capable of.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, I mean, they threw it out there for open class, and I said, well, you know, they got rid of women's bodybuilding,
Right.
and that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I said, well, I'll do women's physique,
Mhm.
come down. But then they had women's bodybuilding is back,
Right.
and that's what I love.
Right.
So I decided to do 2, and
Okay.
then I decided to do 35 and up, which is masters.
Okay.
And no one competed in masters, so I was solo.
Oh, okay.
So I automatically won that.
Right. All right.
I wanted somebody to come up with it, but nobody wanted to do masters.
They looked down the line and said, "Well, rub my name out, please."
They knew she was competing.
Yeah, rub my name
They've
out.
seen her for the last 2 to 3 months. Masters, chances are very slim. Wow. Now that you've experienced it. You got your pro card. What sort of advice do you give the local chapter here, people that are into the sport, to see it grow? What sort of advice do you give them?
To see the sport grow.
To see the sport grow, and also as an individual.
As an individual preparing, they have to work for it. You have to work hard. You have to be mentally ready to take on that type of diet.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally ready for the cardio that you're gonna have to do toward the end. You're not gonna have to do it in the beginning, but as getting closer, you know, you just got to be focused and dedicated.
Right.
You have to let go of, alcohol, junk food, friends that are not for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lonely sport.
Right.
It is a lonely sport.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say,
you can be successful.
You've been in it for quite some time, so you've managed those things
yes,
for yourself.
Yes.
So it relatively becomes easy for you. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but it's always going to be a challenge.
It's always a challenge. Trust me, it's always a challenge. Plenty of times I didn't want to go back and do that cardio, but I had to focus. I had to block everything out, and I said, you know what, it's all or nothing.
Right.
And I put all.
Right.
And that's why I'm here.
Okay. And you do spend time training other people as well.
Yes, I'm a personal trainer.
So your message to them is all or nothing, or what do you want to get out of this?
What do you want to get out of this?
Okay.
And how much are you willing to put into it?
Because
you're only going to get out of
what you put in.
What you put in.
Okay.
You see? So if you're training with me and you're going home and cheating, I can't spoon feed you.
Right.
I can tell you how to eat. And I can show you, but I can't be home with you to make sure that you're doing it.
Right.
You see?
And then I realized that you can also see it.
But I can see it.
Right. You can see it. Right?
I can see it.
And that's what they don't understand. Why is it, we choose new women on this one here because you train a lot of women. And men too, don't get me wrong. Let's put it across the board. Why do individuals want an overnight success and it just doesn't work overnight? And what I mean by overnight, they want to have the 6-pack to 12-pack, 10% or even 5% body fat in like 3 months. It just don't work like that.
It never works like that.
It never will.
It's diet. It all boils down to what you put in your mouth. You can do crunches all day. I'm gonna tell you, you'll strengthen them, but you're not gonna see no abdominals if you're not eating clean. And that's the bottom line to that. There's no way around it. There's no way around none of this. It's hard work. It's work. It's maintenance on the body.
When you say eating clean, what did you eat clean in the span when you had this new coach for your nutritionist?
What did I eat? I ate lots of asparagus, cucumber, chicken. I've ate oatmeal. It's the same.
Same.
Yeah, but it's all weighed.
Yeah.
So.
And then you cut it down as you get in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it by your weight or is it?
It's just consistency in eating too.
Yeah.
You don't switch up. You just keep eating the same thing, and then he looks at you, and then he'll tell you if you should add carbs or not.
Wow.
If he's trying to break you down, It's a science.
Right. That's why I'm going to ask this question. Is it by your weight or is it just the weight of the food?
No.
Does it measure up? What I'm trying to say is, does your weight of food measure into your weight, or is it just generalized?
How did he do that? I don't think he done it by my weight.
Okay.
He looked at me and he put me on what he thought would work, and then he would break it down.
Oh, okay.
Right? So the calories will get lower as it got closer, right? Or sometimes it got more because I needed more. So it was like that's a breakdown.
Okay.
Cool. Well, again, congratulations. Just explain to our listeners about these medals. Which one is which? Explain what they
so this is heavyweight first place.
Wow. IFBB Professional Pro Qualifier.
This is women's physique, short, first place. I also have 2 samurai swords. And this is masters, first place.
Yeah.
Over 35 and up.
Okay. All right.
And I also have a big plaque that says pro.
Pro, yes.
IFBB pro.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Well, just before we wrap up with you, again, back to the local front. How you say yes, it's hard work, it's dedication. But from the event itself, is there anything that you will share with the local chapter as they put on the local events coming in 2020?
It was very professionally done. Our shows are pretty good.
Yeah.
I've been to shows where in like Guyana and different places where it's third world country. And I mean, they put on that show that they can, but
Right.
our shows are done pretty good, pretty organized, pretty organized. But this show was really spectacular,
Right.
spectacular. And I hope that they bring it again next year to give other people opportunity to turn pro. And yeah, it was brilliant.
Cool.
It was brilliant.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And you know we're gonna be looking out for you.
Thank you.
Forward, you know?
Yes,
you know, everybody's
please
been
do.
watching you. I think, oh, well, she's like, no, 3 months later.
Oh, please do. I encourage you too.
Jesus award, she ain't shy.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna take a commercial break. We'll be back after this.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Beeston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Again, congratulations to Sue Ellen Lattimore for her pro card winning Saturday night in the International Bodybuilding Competition at Cedar Bridge Academy. Joining us now in the studio is our CEO, Mr. Patrick Singleton. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Ian.
As you are a member of the, get it correct, Olympic. Give me the title. I don't have the correct.
So I'm a member of the International Olympic Committee's Athletes Commission and also their Medical and Scientific Commission, and I'm on the board of the World Olympians Association.
And you wear a lot of hats. That said, the big story today, the breaking story, which has been investigated for quite some time, Russia being banned for 4 years. That would include the 2020 Olympics and 2022 Olympics. Explain to us what this entails.
So it seems to be a never-ending saga.
Especially with Russia. It's a good way of putting it, yeah.
It goes back to Sochi Olympic Games in 2014 when they were found to have systematically doped the system, cheated the system. Right. They created their own anti-doping agency, what became a doping agency. So, and it was found out the head of their anti-doping lab escaped and brought a lot of the data with him, and WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, got this information, and there's been this back and forth between WADA, the IOC, and Russia for some time, and they were supposed to have complied with, and they did agree to comply with a whole raft of measures. Right. They didn't. It's been terrible. They said they would agree, and they didn't. They said they would comply, and they didn't. And it resulted in then Russia being banned as a country from the Winter Olympic Games. Right. And so we allowed them to come back in after the games on condition that they provided all of the data from the Sochi Olympic Games and their database in Russia. They promised to do it. They gave us the database in January, said it was complete, and our WADA's investigators have discovered huge discrepancies, deleted data, and this has posed a huge problem. So now Jonathan Taylor, the head of the Compliance Review Commission, has come up with this recommendation. We've been in discussions with them for a number of weeks now. We've agreed with it, and WADA's come out today and said that Russia as a country is banned for 4 years. So that means that Russia cannot host any major sporting events, so any world championships, any Olympic Games, Youth Olympic Games, major sporting events. They will be allowed to host Euro 2020 because it's not considered to be a major sporting event. Right. Their athletes are not allowed to compete in those major sporting events. So Olympic Games, Youth Olympic Games, or any world championship type events, they're not going to be allowed to compete in under the Russian flag. But if the athletes themselves can show that they haven't been caught up in this scandal, then they're not on any lists, the McCran report, the Russian database, or they haven't had any adverse ADRs, doping findings, right, then they will be allowed to compete under independent team, independent status.
So you're saying then, if I was Russian and I'm found clean, I can compete in these various events, and if I come first, second, or third, I do get a medal, but as an independent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
similar other countries have had the same under the same guidelines as well.
Okay.
It happened during the Pyeongchang Olympic Games a year and a half ago. So with this ruling, it goes back to RUSADA, the Russian anti-doping agency, and they have 21 days to decide whether they're going to accept it or not. And I spent a couple of days this summertime in Greece with the head of the Russian anti-doping agency, meeting with him at the Olympic Institute there in Olympia, and I think that he will comply with it. The question is, what will the Russian government do? So 2 years ago, we banned the Russian deputy prime minister and the Russian sports minister, and that meant that he couldn't then be the head of the FIFA organizing committee for the World Cup, and that got me put on the Russian government sanction list because I was the guy that was on the WADA Foundation board at that time. So I wonder what Russia will do now. I think RUSADA will comply, but whether they have a pressure applied by the government, we'll see within the next 21 days. And if Russia doesn't accept WADA's findings today, the decision, then WADA will take this case to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and then the court will decide. And that could drag. And it could be that this case isn't decided before Tokyo, in which case Russian athletes would be allowed to compete for Russia in Tokyo 2012.
Which that's what they'll do. That's exactly what will happen. They'll drag it on, and then they'll work out a deal that they'll get a 2-year ban, right? They'll miss the winter, but be back for summer. Watch. Immediately after.
I was probably right with it.
Wow.
I mean, it's a prediction. Who knows? Jonathan Taylor, the very smart English lawyer who's the head of the Compliance Review Committee, has put into place certain requirements. They want the raw data, the non-manipulated raw data. They've done some pretty awful things. Like they've gone in there and they've inserted emails into the database that suggest things happen when it didn't happen. They've deleted athletes' findings. They've put in a finding. It's like really messed up stuff.
So with all this said and done, and I understand what Earl's saying, I understand what you're saying, at the end of the day, it seems that Russia still gets what they want if they follow through the format what Earl suggested.
The government's gonna dictate it.
I mean, the Russian government.
Yeah, they'll dictate it.
That's Putin.
Yeah.
Well, remember, Putin's new wife is Olympic gold medalist, right?
Ah, so step is okay. No, just plot thickens even more.
I don't know. I mean, like the Russians thought they were going to get away with this.
Right.
They thought that they were so smart they wouldn't get caught, and they got caught.
Well, that's a good problem. You
guys.
They
got caught the first time, and now they got caught manipulating the data.
Right.
Like we caught them. They have some very smart software programs, and they still got caught.
Mm-hmm.
So
I guess we weren't that smart. I guess you guys are smarter. No, I mean, give me credit. Smarter.
It was the researchers at the University of Lausanne that caught them. Software engineers, brilliant people, got them.
Wow.
So
they thought they had enough time because remember you gave them a couple of months to hand over everything, so they went to work immediately around the clock, putting in all this false data and documentation, taking out stuff, trying to manipulate everything.
Why is it Russia is always trying to beat the system? This goes back to before Earl, you and I, when we become powerhouses. This goes back to like the 60s and 70s where Russia was like trying to beat the Olympics back then. That's the first time I heard about it back in 76, I think it was. It was wrong. Or 80.
Yeah.
It's the boycott of the Olympics.
Right.
Because that was Moscow Olympics. That was a boycott. But it's always a problem in Russia.
I mean, this is a systemic problem with their government, but there's always been a problem with doping, even 3,000 years ago with doping, right? Plato was writing about it. But I don't think it's just Russia, and you've seen it in Kenya recently. And look, there has been doping in the U.S. and in Europe. A lot of individual athletes or teams dope, not necessarily countries, but they apply pressure on them. And Russia just got caught, and they got caught in a very major way.
Right.
But some of the work that we're doing now in the IOC's Medical and Scientific Commission, like we're trying to use genes now rather than the old blood testing to look at, maybe you had a bit of steroid in you, and it's a very short time window. So let's say you take a stimulant. That stimulant, if you microdose, it can be out of your system in a few hours. Like literally, it comes and goes. Steroids stay in there a lot longer.
Right.
But we're trying to develop a new series of tests that last 3 months, and that when you take the drug, you won't be able to mask it. You won't be able to hide it. It's your genes. So genes have they create all these expressions. You take a drug and you can have thousands of expressions. And so what we want to do is create this biological passport that you come in every 3 months. You'll take your blood test, and you will not be able to cheat the system. Like your genes will not lie. So we're working on the science. We're working in academic labs around the world. We're using artificial intelligence, machine learning, very big supercomputers, and it's getting better. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where they're not going to be able to cheat the system. They have up until this point, right? We're going to hopefully get to a point where we can put water out of a job. We won't need to have people going around and doing these secret tests. You just come in, you do a test, we'll know.
The one problem that is I guess going around is that when you have the numbers that you've seen of people doping in various different sports, standards to make the major festivals has been raised. So a lot of these people are doing that in order to make the standard. So will we see standards come down somewhat in order for people who are not taking supplements to be able to be competitive? Because that'll be the issue. I mean, if you look at it, the standard time for a swimmer and the standard time for somebody on the track, it's almost not possible doing it on help like clean. If you understand what I'm saying, the required times that they set, that it's making it very difficult for athletes to realize that if you're a what we call a B standard athlete, you're in order to make that the cut, you almost have to do something other than train because you've been training all this time.
Yeah.
So will we see that? Has that been discussed? Because that will play a major part in it as well.
I haven't been in any discussions regarding that. I mean, you do see records still standing today that were set during the East German
Right,
year
right.
and hasn't been broken.
Right.
But then you look at someone like Usain Bolt, and I firmly believe that he's clean.
Hmm.
I don't believe that he's dope.
Right.
I mean, he's just so much beyond everyone else. It's an
Right.
evolution. So I'm hopeful. Maybe I'm idealistic, Earl, that sports will continue to develop. But you're right. Those athletes that aren't the A standard, the B that want to get to the A, like a Ben Johnson, or
Right.
they're always trying to cheat the system.
Yeah. So the problem is that we'll use Usain Bolt as a standard, as an example. The standards are the ones he set. Who's catching him? It's going to be a rare person down the road somewhere that's going to be similar to him. But the problem is the guys that are running his times now, 9 times out of 10 will get caught within the next 3 years.
Yeah.
They will. I mean, Johan Blake's been caught. What's the other Jamaican guy? They're all tested positive. The Americans have been tested. So they're doing that to make the standard. And we consider them the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy that's the B guy, he's thinking, well, the only way is, what are you taking, boss?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because it's not a level playing field. So that has to be a major discussion as well. Is how do we regulate to make sure that the B class guy has the opportunity to become an A class without taking supplements? Because everybody's training just as hard as each other, but it's that guy that's got that extra edge that could come from a guy in a white coat.
Right.
Right. Because that's basically what it comes down to.
Well, to a certain degree, in some sports.
Yeah.
In some sports, it's much more prevalent than others.
Right.
Say cycling, weightlifting.
Yes.
But in certain sports, it isn't as prevalent. Maybe engineering of your equipment is important.
Right.
Or your eyesight in shooting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for sure, this has been a problem that's existed since.
Without.
But we're hoping to get to a point that we can be ahead of it.
Right.
Maybe idealistic, but we're working on it very hard. Yeah.
So if we wrap up, you fly out tomorrow and you're back next week to give the update, or just
Sure.
You guys doing?
So we have Sport Accord in Florida. Excuse me, in Fort Lauderdale, starts tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's the world's largest sports business conference, and so obviously the big topic will be on Russia and anti-doping. The other hot topic is the protests on the podium that we're seeing. The IOC is looking closely at that because they don't want to limit free speech. At the same time, they don't want
political statements.
Three different athletes from 3 different countries all protest. Who decides who protests? So you might have an American protesting one thing. You might have someone from Palestine protesting something else. You might have someone protesting a war somewhere. And you can get to a point. So there's a fine balancing act, and I think that they need to provide the athletes with a location that they can demonstrate if they need to. But that's to be seen. And the other one is the Rule 40 is sponsorship and advertising. It's still ongoing, right? Some athletes want bigger stake. The IOC provides 90% of the revenue, the TV revenues that they get, goes back into sport. But there's a lot of people that say that it isn't enough. That the 10% that goes on administration needs to shrink even more. So
I got it.
We still have some hot topics that happen.
And one of the biggest things that listening to athletes around the world talk is that you have a sponsor, and that sponsor takes you all the way up to a major festival, and then get to the major festival, and the sponsor cannot be displayed by the athlete.
No, it's not good.
So they're losing sponsors because the biggest major festival that you can make, I can't be seen as your sponsor because the rules and regulations. So that's what the athletes are now having discussions with about. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I know your hands are full, and I wish you all the best. And I look forward to you sharing that information and insight when you return, because that's some interesting stuff. And as Earl said, and you both said, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and what you guys deal with. And just to share this information, that's a lot of work. Mercy. And people trying to still beat the system. Your hands are full.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Ian.
Cool.
Keep up the good work.
No worries. Not a problem. Breakaway, and we'll be back after news. Then I think there's weather. And then back after weather.
Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Beeston.
And
It's now time for our health and fitness segment with Dave Wolf, brought to you by the Argus Group and Fit for Life.
welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio is no stranger. It's Mr. Dave Wolf. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Man, I had to send the police out looking for you,
Yeah,
man.
you be-
Where have you been?
Where's Dave?
Dave has reappeared.
Yeah, man.
So first of all, congratulations.
Yeah,
sir,
blessings.
Saturday night.
Yeah, give thanks, blessings. Yeah, thank you very much.
How was it, mate?
It was good. It was a good night. I always say at this age, at this advanced age, you start getting to your fours, your 4 O's, your 4 pluses. To be able to move and to be able to do what I do, I'm very, 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 very thankful and blessed. Yeah, it was a good night, man. I had a good time. Yeah, nice.
Did you go in like saying I'm gonna win this, or you just
No, man, no way. Yeah. Now you always be humble, right? Always be humble. I think at the end of the day, you try to do your best. So I did competitions before, and it's always different because every circumstance is different. I didn't have my own gym back then, so preparation was different. What I was willing to put into it was different. At this time, I had to temper in terms of how much I want to give to training because it takes a toll on your body. Obviously, your mood, you go low calories, you go low carbs. It affects you physically and emotionally. So I was willing to give up so much because I had to be available to my clients and to my company. So I put as much as I could into this preparation, and I got just rewards. I'm thankful.
I think it was like you made a decision maybe 2 months prior.
Well, I was thinking about it, to be honest. I was thinking about it, and I really decided probably about 10 weeks out to really give it a shot. So I'm happy. I'm thankful.
And I think the good thing is he can do that all.
He's already
in shape. He's already in shape.
Just has to tweak a little for you. When you finish Saturday night and you're walking off the stage, what's going through your mind?
Blessed, and when I'm leaving, I'm feeling very, very, I guess, on a high because this audience are there, they're calling your name. There's a bit of, I guess, euphoric feeling. Everybody likes to have that moment and they did something. And of course, on a personal level, if you have a goal, it's your goal to do something and you achieve that goal, that's rewarding. So reward was definitely there. I felt good. Yeah, definitely a good, I guess we say a good natural high. That's a good way of looking at it.
It's funny, man. I was working on Saturday, right? People were sending me pictures from the shows early in the morning. And I was saying, look, Dave's got this.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just no lie. I was looking at it, I was like, Dave's got this.
I appreciate it.
That's no lie. That's like,
need him down there judging it. Sitting in all 5 seats.
Judge number 1.
Judge number 2, Rollins here.
You guys are raw. Yeah, he's hooking up Dave. He's hooking up Dave, right? Yeah, so, but yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
You got some exciting news. Just want to let our listeners know about what's in store for 2020. There's something new that I think will be exciting for people who want to get into shape, and as we always talk about, the key is nutrition.
Yeah, very good segue into that. I am about to launch. There's a gentleman to my right. I'll let him introduce himself in a minute. A young man who is doing big things on his own right. He has a partner, and they own a restaurant. And what I've decided to do is Fit for Life has teamed up with Bermuda Eats Restaurant, and we're going to be offering what I call my line of signature meals. So they are called, my brand is basically to stay ready, which we know that means to kind of be in a state of readiness in terms of aesthetics, in terms of health, in terms of nutrition. So we've created over 10 meals, which are healthy, nutritious, tasty, delicious, and more importantly, these meals are macro sensitive, which means Mr. Bazin, for example, can go to a vendor and he will collect these grab and go meals. They'll be made fresh daily, and he'll pick it up and will have the meal of the day. So it might be something like lemon zest chicken with garlic, string beans, and some quinoa, and he would flip it over and it will show Mr. Bazin the ingredients that we use, all healthy ingredients, and it would also have the required macronutrients. So we're talking about protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. So if he wanted to manage his daily intake, he would at least know what he's purchasing. So the idea is for Bermuda Eats to make these meals daily, for Fit for Life to promote these meals to my clients, friends, and companies, and then for a vendor, i.e., the supermarkets and gas stations and other establishments, to sell them, and then people will be able to purchase them like grab and go. So, and also it's important to note that we are conscientious. We're looking at the environment, so the containers are biodegradable. They are not plastic, so we're not going to do any further damage to the environment. We don't really have a recycling like we should, but the containers can at least break down a little bit easy in the once you get rid of them. So that's basically going to come online. So we're calling that Stay Ready Meals. We're going to be launching very very soon. So look out for the launch of that, and then what I'm going to do. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to give you guys be the first featured participants. So I'll bring meals to the station. I'll give each of you guys a meal.
All right.
Make sure you guys can try the first batch.
Are these hot meals or cool meals? What are they?
So I'll let Jane introduce herself, and then you can do the talking.
My name's Jalen Steve. I've just been a chef. Me and my friend, my partner, actually, Raven White. We've been in business for about, I want to say, a year officially now, having a shopping cafe. But we started out catering and stuff like that, and just wanted to put ourselves out there and kind of, show Bermuda that we can put on like an international level of food. But yeah, I'm talking about the meals. It's something essentially that, they are going to be hot meals. They're going to be ready to eat, so they will be displayed in the grocery store, so you can come in and get them. You can put them in the refrigerator and then reheat it. So we thought about that and how we're going to package it and cook the ingredients and have things processed so that they won't deteriorate in quality. The quality will still stay the same. Also, as well as, I'm not in the gym as much as my friend right here. But, for people like me and like business owners and people who are just on the go and, sometimes you are hungry, but you don't want to have a plate of grease,
Right.
You want a plate of food. And it's hard to just find a plate of food. You understand what you're getting in it, who made it, how it was made, and everything holistically that you're getting. You see that a lot in the States now, trying to get onto that trend of trying to make people a lot healthier. And even in the cafe, as such, we don't really tend to do a lot of fried stuff. We do have some fried items, but we try to mix it up and stay relevant and different. And that's what we're kind of trying to show people is that, you don't always have to rely on grease and heavy things to make food taste good. Like something that your mama made could taste just as good if you just thought a little bit more about what you put in.
Definitely.
So you'll be making, because you did mention 8 different.
Well, what we're going to do, so there is about 10 what I call Stay Ready signature meals.
Okay.
Meals that I have did a little research on. So
Right.
Meals that I use, quite frankly, meals that I've been enjoying for years. I have got nutrition to help me with the content.
Right.
So we're going to do a soft launch. So we pick 4 kind of like out the box meals that we think would be popular. We do the first 4. And then we'll probably maybe every periodically add in another meal.
Okay.
And also, obviously, it's important to figure out what people want.
Right.
Like I might like the lemon zest chicken. You might prefer Cajun blackened shrimp.
Right.
So we need to figure out what people like. But all the meals are tasty, made fresh daily, and they will be at good a price point. Obviously, because the other part of it I think is important is that, and I recognize, I think you've been talking about it in the past about nutrition and what you really want is balance, all right? So no one's saying you're going to eat these foods every day. Clearly, you're not. But you want to be able to at least encourage people to be making healthy decisions. If you want an option, the options are available.
Right.
And you're only going to pay so much for it. Like even me now, when I go to certain places, and there aren't many buffets that they have. I'm not going to call names. I'm not going to do that to people. But when you go to some of the buffets and you try to make a healthy option, and you get to that cashier, in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, when I get to that cashier, in my mind, I know what I'm willing to pay for this. So if I get some salmon and some asparagus and some rice, when I get to that counter, I'm like, okay, lady, I don't want you to go over $21
Right.
on that scale, because no matter how delicious and tasty and fresh it is, we have to have a decent price point. So that's been taken into consideration as well, right?
Right.
Make it cost effective so we can actually afford it. Yeah,
Which is most important.
yeah, it's very important.
And that's the main thing that even being in a restaurant, and doing the catering and stuff like that, we do have buffets. Is if people don't see something, they're not gonna get it.
Right.
So when people do understand, I know I should eat better. I know I should do stuff. But when you don't see it and it's not in front of you, and it's not as accessible for you to just make that decision to opt for that, it's a lot harder.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a lot easier now with what we're trying to do.
Well, let me ask you this question because you're into the business and you're into fitness. Why are the cheating stuff always in the front when you walk into any store?
Well, I think it's
We're
mostly because of brand
Yeah.
That's true.
and accessibility.
Right. I only ask that. I only ask that because you say if people don't see the healthy stuff, they tend not to get it.
Well,
So if that's brought forward,
no, good point. Good point. Interesting enough. So if you go to every cashier, I would dare say gas stations, grocery stores, usually at the front there are chocolates, candies, gum,
mhm.
and the like right at the front.
Mhm.
And usually, let's say you get your grocery card and you're finished shopping, you look to your right, you see the wine gums. You grab 2 wine gums and a Cadbury just because they're there.
There, yeah, convenience.
The old you, right?
And that's from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, that's
why they
that's
do that.
Purely.
And it's been known that we would do that instead of buying the healthy food if it was up front.
Yeah. So interesting. That's a good point, Earl. Because one of the things that we have asked and beseech anyone who's going to be a vendor, which is simply selling the food, like it's literally just sell the food, but to display it in a location that is easy to be accessible. There's no point putting it in aisle number 3, way in the back,
Right.
up top on the
It's totally
corner.
understandable.
Yeah, you gotta
Right.
put it somewhere
Right.
where people can see it and hopefully have a little accessibility to it.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
Right.
Well, let me share this with you. Dave's going to be doing some Fit for Life this next year on Inside Sports Talk Radio. And he's also going to talk about nutrition. So he's more than welcome to share his vendors of where the food's going to be located.
Okay.
Yes.
We can do that. It's not a problem. Actually, we can even go on site and do some
Yeah,
stories in there as well.
definitely.
So that's cool. What I give credit to Dave and his partner there, Bermuda Eats, is that the thing of gyms is that gyms have been growing in Bermuda. So there were like a slew of gyms. But as time went on in the 21st century, one thing that was missing was nutrition. And if you notice, when Dave came on Inside Sports last year, he stressed about the nutrition.
Right.
He's taking the next step and say, let me incorporate the nutrition with this gym. Because he knows full well that one cannot do without the other.
Right.
So
Right.
doing this here, I think you're probably the first gym that's doing something of this sort.
Well, I mean, it's really just is I would say even bigger than gym. It's just a business opportunity, and also for me, it's like one of the things I hear all the time. It's like you guys in the radio business, you might hear about different marketing promotion opportunities. You guys are heavy curve. Every client that comes to me has a question, and I think people have a natural inclination. They want to do better, and they really just want to meet their goals. And you think about it, they're paying a lot of money in personal training. They're paying for group classes, punch cards, and the only thing that's missing is a little tweak in your diet. Because really, even for me, okay, so one of the reasons why I really did this show is that I don't have anything to prove. I mean, obviously, it's always me against me, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to showcase that I'm 48 years old. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I can still get on stage. I can get my body fat down to a low percentage if I wanted to by simply making some simple adjustments. So point taken is that I was already in pretty good shape leading up to the show. But to get on stage is obviously next level.
Right.
So you need to incorporate some other nutrition to take it down a level. But it's just using, it's nothing extreme.
Right.
So we're not talking about a starvation diet. We're not talking about like drinking green tea only, or just drinking turmeric every day. We're talking about eating real food, real meal, whole foods. So a lot of the lean meats, healthy carbohydrates, good food. Just made a little bit like Jalen said, made differently. You just switch up the oil, for example,
Right.
makes a huge difference. You cut back on the healthy fat, makes a huge difference. And you can drop your caloric intake down.
Is it recommended you might have 2 of the meals a day, or what is the recommended thing?
It really just depends on the individual. Like in how I see it is that you want to provide an option. So what I heard is people are trying to make healthy options. So there are out there, and there are currently healthy options now. You might pack your lunch on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday, had a late night, had a meeting. You didn't pack it for Friday. So Friday would be an option to go get a lunch. You got a lunch meal, you got a dinner meal, you go home. You may only purchase it twice that week because you've already made your own choices that week. So, and then someone else might say, hey, you know what? Based on my lifestyle, I'm not able to pack any meals. I'm a busy guy. I'm going to get the meals every day. We're also going to try to get it where you can simply order it from your place of business or your home, and it'll be delivered to you. So you don't even have to move. You can just order it. Of course, that'll be an additional fee.
Yeah.
But that'll be something that we look at as well.
Well, let me ask you, when Dave comes to you to Or did you guys approach him? How did this?
That's a funny story, actually.
Sitting down by Doc talking.
It was destiny.
It was complete coincidence.
Right.
Because actually, a friend of mine, we were actually thinking about going to a gym. She was looking around for classes, and she was real. She didn't want to go by herself. So
Right.
I said, I'll go with you. And she had checked out this place, Fit for Life. I said,
Right.
I've not even heard of this place. I didn't know where it was.
Right.
So we went, and just so happens the class that we were going to go to was canceled that night.
Right.
So we walked in the door, and we saw Dave at the top of the steps. And then real quick, we just talked, and I said, I own a cafe down the street. I didn't even know you guys were here. So he said, oh, you're in the cafe? And then we started talking about the whole deals and whatnot. So from that, I said, well, send me the information. I can talk to my business partners, and we're going from there. And we did a photo shoot the other day.
So, Ian, let me tell you.
We got some stuff together.
Had the class been on, they wouldn't have had that conversation. You know why? Because he wouldn't have been able to talk.
The next time I came back,
Uh-huh.
the next time I came back,
Right.
we did a little private session, and then I couldn't talk.
And that's a private session. That's a private session.
Okay. But what Jalen didn't know, which is for full disclosures, that I always, this is always like in my mind. So this is the desire to have these stay ready meals and to do it what I call because the biggest thing is the grab and go, the convenience of it, and of course the packaging, ingredients, and macros. So in my mind, before I started GM, the meals are always in mind. I have been shopping this around to other restaurateurs or chefs, commercial kitchens for the last year and a half.
That's right.
He didn't know, so I was looking for the right person. I wanted somebody to be local. I wanted that person to be hungry and young. I wanted to be a business that we could grow together. But I didn't even know about Burmese. I had no idea they were, because I remember that business was called Common Ground. Yeah, so that's what it was formerly known as, right? So I didn't know that these guys had it, but I was looking for the right person. I had a few opportunities with other partners that didn't work out for various reasons. So when he came in, I'm like, oh, you guys got a restaurant. Let's talk about the options. And from the first time we had a conversation, I knew that they would be a good match. So so far so good, and we're looking to do this. Yeah.
When you're looking to launch.
Well, right now the only thing I'm waiting, like I think Jalen and I and Bernie East and Fit for Life are on the same page. We're good to go tomorrow. The only thing we need a couple vendors that are we've had a few yeses. We had some maybe. And when I say vendors, we need locations to sell them.
Right.
That you can go pick them up. So I'm still in meetings and conversations, but my expectation, all goes well, probably in a week or two, we can have some meals available. Certainly going to New Year, we'll do a soft launch for sure. Definitely.
Okay.
So look out for social media blitz, stay ready meals on Instagram, Facebook, and a bunch of promotions. And Bermuda Broadcasting, specifically Sports Talk Radio, will be getting the first batch of meals. Done.
We'll critique it.
Yeah, definitely.
He's not lying though, because the other day when we did a photo shoot, we just did like a little photo shoot for 2 dishes, and he told me that I can't do the carbs right now, and he ate all the vegetables and the meat, and he's like, no, when I eat my carbs, I'm ready for the competition. It's gonna hit me the right time. I was like, okay. Chinese to me, and then next thing you know, I was checking the thing. I was like, I know he's in this competition. I was like, oh, he won. My eyes in it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, it works. The food tastes good. As a chef, I wouldn't serve anything I wouldn't eat
Right.
myself. So, and that's something we live by. So the food is good food.
Oh, trust you.
It's made by good people. Trying to be good.
Once things up and running, I know you have some night classes, and could you be selling any of them from your gym?
Haven't got that far, but I mean, I always look at growth potential opportunities. There's a number of ways this could grow.
Right.
Gas stations, supermarkets, airport, hotels. Yeah, I mean the whole 9 yards. Certainly at the gym would be an option too. I think you just need to start and then see how things go. Obviously, the big thing would be, I think in the past people have had this assumption that eating healthy had to be boring and making sure that.
No.
Yeah.
Jalen just said, I like good food. I cannot go on anything, any diet or any regime that would not be tasty and delicious. It's got to be tasty, delicious, and also got to look good. I'm not eating no dry potato, no dry chicken breast, no.
Right.
So yeah.
Soul thrower from some
we've actually even in terms of, and you might be able to speak to this a bit more, Jalen, before we go, in terms of how we're going to prepare some of the because we're going to do a vegetarian option, but also we're going to do a vegetarian option, and a vegan option, but also a meat, lots of lean meat, but prepare the meat in a way where when you reheat it, it's delicious and tasty, not dry. Because sometimes when you cook meat, you dry out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The process is going to be a little bit different to make sure that the meats in particular are not dried out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I think we pretty much
Yeah.
Covered. Right?
Yeah, man.
Again, thank you for coming
Thank
on board,
you.
gentlemen.
Good luck.
We wish
Appreciate
you
it.
all the best.
Thank you, guys.
Much
Appreciate it.
appreciated.
We'll be a part of that on 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For January.
Thank
Yeah.
What question? Did you have a class on Boxing Day?
I'll be away in Boxing Day, but we can work on it. I'm gonna be in Orlando,
Okay, fair enough.
so I won't be there.
All right,
Going
so
on vacation.
understood.
Everyone needs one of those.
Everyone needs education, but I know people start talking already. Dave having class on Boxing Day. You know that.
Yeah, we probably work something out, but I won't be me. I'll be off.
Okay, all right, cool.
All right.
Ian Rollins is having class.
Yeah.
No, I'm late.
Stop stuttering. Stop stuttering.
I'll be there. I'm not stuttering.
Like your 3-minute walking up the hill. Stop stuttering.
It did. It took me 3 minutes and 40 seconds yesterday to walk from the bottom of Billy Goat Hill on the Audrey side to the top. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. You didn't believe me?
Let's stop it. That's far.
That's
I did it.
Hey,
I did it. I ain't gonna lie. I did. Ain't nothing can lie.
that's all to you.
All right, thanks. But he thinks I didn't do it.
Listen,
He said he
the
did.
last time
All right.
he said he done that was after
Was
2
it-
hours
was
and
it-
50 minutes of walking.
No, I said it was an hour and 50 minutes.
Hour and 50 minutes of walking, and then he walked over the hill and it took him less than 10 minutes.
It did. And hey,
So-
to get on the other
So
side,
yesterday,
I didn't
he
know.
drove to the bottom of the hill, got out, and walked over the hill.
when you see Karen, ask Karen.
So next time, what you gotta do is you just gotta videotape it.
No, he said no. He thinks I'm gonna fix it.
Videotape. We
Right.
knocked it. Yeah.
Right.
You're going to see phases in and out.
Yeah, did. In all honesty, from the bottom to the top took 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and down to the
I
other
had
side
people
of the
who
south
live
side.
over there tell me,
They
no
can't-
way.
I have no reason to doubt you.
I see. Dave,
Well,
I
well,
train.
that
I
comes-
train at your gym.
That
So
comes
you-
from the guy that would have given you first place from all the practice seasons to jump the station. So I know how you.
Look where he's going. I forgot about that, right? But I train with Dave, so he knows.
Oh, I know,
All right.
I have no reason to doubt you.
All right. I ain't gonna say anymore. Cool. We'll take a commercial break. We'll be back after this.
Back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baisden.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday, December the 9th, 2019. We only have a few more days left in the year. Joining us in studio now is Gavin Manders, Manders Tennis Management. Gavin, first of all, it was some time ago it was announced that you had been honored by the ITF for Davis Cup accomplishments, international accomplishments. Again, congratulations with that. But you've been working very hard. You and Javon have been working hard in revitalizing the sport for youngsters. And I think the last time we talked about what someone like Sam Mabry had done for you and others, which you're trying to, I guess, build from.
I mean, our main focus is raising the next generation. Obviously, we do a whole lot of things at MTM for all different, from birthday parties to adults to corporate building, all that type of stuff. But our passion and our main focus is growing the sport and trying to make it more accessible where we can.
Right.
Obviously, we still need to make a living, but we do a lot of promo. We do have a lot of free kids down there. We try to make sure that we're not just kind of teaching them tennis, that we're teaching them life and showing them how to love the game, not just trying to teach them tennis, trying to show them how it relates to life and those different type of things. So we worked with family services before,
Right.
and now I can't remember the exact name of the group, but Darren Woods heads it. We with some of the kids and to place them in and let them see what tennis is about too. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you have all the different environments of football, the cricket, you have all of this, but tennis is never really looked at as something of an activity to do other than like playing a sport. It's a recreation for most, 90%, right?
Right.
So that's when you've seen us doing this Red Bull Festival and stuff with the Fun Castle, with Master Castles down there.
Right.
Bermuda Cupcake Company comes down with the snow cones and all of that. We're trying to make it similar to how the other sports do it so that kids can see it as a positive thing and want to play tennis. Because if not, it's kind of boring at times.
When the rules come out, because we now people talk about the Red Bull. There's another bowl, a red up, orange. Yeah. Do you see that as a plus when kids are starting that they get these different level of bowls that?
I when it first came out, everyone's kind of first when change happens, like I don't know,
right?
But I'm 100% on board with all of that. I mean, tennis was late to the game. I've talked to you about this before. We have one of the biggest dropout rates across the board.
Yes.
And this is what has been implemented to help prevent some of that, because you don't have a 7-year-old shooting on a 10-foot rim. All the other sports, the football at 6, you're not playing with the football that the premier guys are playing with.
Right.
So all of these things are things to help kids be more successful, help them play earlier, because tennis traditionally is not a sport that you can actually like play with a friend till maybe 10, 11, 12 after plenty lessons, and whereas these bowls and these nets allow for play right away, and now they have tape for nets.
Yes.
If they don't make it over, it still goes to the other side.
Right.
That type of stuff. So it's all to promote play earlier and success earlier and less failure.
The Red Bull participation has grown tremendously.
Sure.
Before we came on the air, you were telling me you had some 70 odd just for the Red Bull.
Sure.
That's phenomenal in itself, because when you look around how much tennis is actually being played, game wise, the numbers don't. You know what I mean? They don't relate, kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it's about, is starting to build it from the bottom, understanding development and not just competing for and having tournaments for the higher percent the lower percent, but the higher percentile players, like what have been myself, and being in physical education, being with Sam, my dad showed me that over the years, that you have to be able to work from the bottom to the top rather than the top to the bottom when it comes to level. But 95% of coaches out there are doing it the opposite way. Because competition, parents, culture brings it to be.
I want my child to be the best. But
that's not what it's about, and that's why Bermuda across the board falls off around that 14-year-old thing because we
Mhm.
compete with everyone
Right.
until about then.
And that's about all sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's when the development of the athlete becomes even more important,
Right.
and the development of the individual.
Right.
You know?
But by then they haven't developed properly because they've gone off natural talent.
Yeah.
So
Win now, no matter what.
yeah. So now when it comes time, then you're playing equal or not better.
Mhm.
Your technical skill isn't there because you never worked on that.
Sure.
Because you was always the best at your age group and you just dominated.
Yeah.
So from that, how long do you see youngsters staying with a Red Bull and then moving to the next level because there is that progression?
Yeah, I mean, technically Red Bull's 8 and under, but because Bermuda's a unique place across the board in everything that we do, sports, life, whatever, smallest this, bridge that,
Right.
tennis courts and per square mile, all these things. But so you normally it's 8 and under for the Red Bull, 9 and under for the Orange Bowl, 10 and under for the Green Belt.
Mhm.
But our Red Bull festival has a 6 and under, 8 and under, a 10 and under, and a 12 and under.
Oh, okay.
Because we have to open these up and think outside the box.
Level of play.
Yeah, because if a 10-year-old comes as an athlete that's never played tennis, how are we ever going to get them to actually play if we're going to put them out on that big court
Mhm.
and they're not going to be successful.
Right.
So if we start to allow them to see that tennis, they can play it. They don't have to leave their sport and play
Right.
tennis.
Right.
Tennis can help their sport.
Yeah.
So if it's something that they see and they enjoy,
Mhm.
they'll be more likely to play maybe once, maybe twice a week, which is a supplement to the sport. We're not just here trying to just have them play tennis.
Right.
I'm been in the game so long because I was an athlete.
Right.
So we want to help other sports get better, but we also have to change how we look at it. If not, they'll never even want to touch the racket.
Right. Right.
The success has to be faster for them, especially in 2019.
Yeah. So how much time do you spend talking with the parents? Because they play a very significant role in helping their kid to understand it's
Sure.
not about winning today. It's growing to become a winner throughout.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a whole lot of that issue just because it's smaller numbers at the top. We still have that issue at levels that we shouldn't even be having the issue technically.
Right.
But, parents mean well for the kids, but at the end of the day, when you have professionals that are doing, no parent goes to a doctor and tells them how they should do things.
Right. Right.
Or other professions. So we just present ourselves professionally and with the research to back it up to show them. And outside of that, you can kind of go somewhere else, really. I mean, where we put our heart and our soul into what we do. So we give them all the information. But most of our parents, go with us. We don't really have that issue that much. But I did face that a good bit when I was in the U.S.,
Right.
where it's a bit more dog eat dog out there. So you really had to know your stuff to be able to back them off. And as
Right.
long as you knew it, they'll
Right.
back up. But if
Right.
you don't have the information to back up what you're doing, I mean, that would be in any profession too.
Right. Right.
So we
Right.
just stay knowledgeable and show them, and yeah,
Mhm.
the rest takes care of itself.
We're getting ready to come to the end of a decade, which you've pretty much been dominating for majority of.
Sure.
What's the next few years for you? Is it more coaching with the youngsters, or do you still see yourself putting pressure on these guys to try and take you out?
I'm always going to be putting pressure on them, whether no matter what comes next. For me, I just continue to do what I love. I've been coaching throughout this whole time. There's not really
Right.
many other players that came through the ranks like I have, other than maybe a Sam Mabry. Talking about like top guys,
Right.
with the Mallory's, all of that. They came into tennis to help later.
Mhm.
I've been doing it the whole time, so I'm not going to really stop. And that's what helps me stay hungry. Every time I think, do I really want to do this again? Because not everyone knows what it takes in the background.
Mhm.
And 2 kids, family. So those things I'm focused on a lot, but they also help me just settle me down. So in a nutshell, I don't think I'm going anywhere, really. I mean, I'm probably moving into another chapter of my health vibe, where I fell off a little bit dealing with my mom
Right.
and 2 kids at the same time and all of that,
Right.
where my disciplines weren't as tight.
Mhm.
My mental's always there.
Right.
But I'm with Beyond Fitness right now. I've been there for about a year. I'm really caught myself. I'm doing some intermittent fasting, really starting to get back on track with that. And if I'm healthy, I can compete with anyone here. It's just
am I willing to continue to do the work it takes to keep up with the international guys?
Right. I was just going to ask.
That's the tricky part.
Right.
But even so, I have to be there. Well, I don't have to. I want to, at least for now in my mind, to keep up and be there for the Treys and the Tariqs that are out there that need the guidance of someone like myself, who can show them ropes and show them how you need to compete, because it's not necessarily just the skill levels. I think you're seeing a little bit on tour when cricketers go away, any of our sports. It's like a mentality, a focus, a professionalism you have to take daily to that.
Right.
And I think
you can't just switch it on when you get there.
No, it's gotta be through that process, and that doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Because I was never perfect through any of my thing. I've never really been a professional tennis player. I've been a tennis professional who still competes pro-am, semi-pro. But when it's time to focus, it's time to focus.
How far? Because when we were in Costa Rica, I noticed how you were talking with Neil and Trey and Tariq. How far are these guys off from knocking on or pushing that door in at that level?
I mean, from a tennis perspective, more of Trey and Tariq. I mean, Neil's always been someone who can keep up, but he's more of another one of the veteranish guys who will use supplement through there. But Trey has got it. I mean, he's got such a big game. His is just mental. Tariq has got the determination to want to. It's just the door they have to kick in is kick their heads in, inside that door.
Right. We saw that in Tariq in Bermuda, like almost self-destruct, worrying too much about things on the outside of the court. And that's a learning. I guess he'll learn from it. Hopefully he's learned from it. What did you tell him after?
After which one?
The where he was blaming the judge, the line judge, even the new referee.
Well, I didn't really talk to him for about 2 days or so. I let it go, because if I would have said it at the time, because we put a lot of work into, especially the mental.
Right.
And he didn't do a few things that I was asking of him leading in, because everyone wants to play tennis. They want to hit. They want to do all those things that it seems like you need to do, rather than reading the book that I'm giving you to look at that and take that. And if you're going to hit for 2 hours, no, read the book for 2 hours and hit for 45 minutes today instead of the opposite. Because if your weakness is your mental, then you should be, especially leading into a competition, which is your last ITF in your career.
Right.
So I waited, and after I just showed him it's just a stepping stone. And we had it on video because his dad videoed it, so we could sit down and watch him go through the process. But it's a daily thing, so it's life too. So when he comes in, I still stick him with stuff that he did in that tournament. Now in situations that can help him with that.
It's funny you say that, because I'm listening. I'm sitting here listening to you talk, and I could see Sam read the book. Don't worry about learning and play, because it's a mental thing, and no, I mean, it makes sense if you just understand the process.
Well, for half of my career, Mabes knew. I mean, know your player, know your team. Any leaders of any man of any sport understand how to deal with it. So he knew if he could get me to the tennis court focused, there's nobody here that would beat me.
Right.
That was his opinion, and his, what he thought, which for the most part was true, and it still is. So that mental is what still keeps me there, even when my fitness has dropped off at times. So that's why when you asked me earlier, I just think if I can focus back in on that fitness, which I want to do just as a father, a husband, and an individual. That's what I'm fighting with. I work a little bit with Preston at Juicery, a little bit of life coaching, and on the health side. I'm struggling at the end with trying to do it for me. Instead of doing it to be the best Bermuda tennis player, or do it for Bermuda and wanting to go international. Like, that's where I'm trying to, take my focus to. It's just a tricky transition. But I know that once I get it and I'm focused on being the best me, health-wise, then I can go ahead and actually be better in all fields that I'm trying to do.
Okay.
How much has the sport changed from your time you was a young man to where you are now?
I mean, a lot. I mean, you got technology like all the other sports, but the game is played from the baseline, whereas way back, that was a lot more players coming to the net. Points are a little longer. Surfaces are actually, I don't want to say slower per se, but the bounces are higher. I mean, they changed the grass. That's why guys like the Rothfuss and all this. Not to say he wouldn't have adjusted because he's one of the greats.
Right.
Like as time went on, they could show you they made the bounce higher and higher because it makes it a little bit more exciting, a little points longer.
Right.
So I mean, it has, but like the mental side is still the same, but physically people can last longer now because of the health vibes, biomechanics, the treatments that they can get. Because if you look back then, guys like Sampras and all these greats, they would have been in Grand Slams at 17.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
That will, I don't want to say it will never happen, but if you look now, these guys are struggling to break through till they're 21, 22.
Right. Right.
And even then, like the Zverevs has been top 5 for like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Can't get a sniff, you know, because these older cats who are still
in it.
holding physically are mentally light years above these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
They know when to slow it down or pick it up.
they just
change
know themselves.
paces,
It's all about you and understanding yourself and how you deal with situations, and just because you can only do what you can do. And the second you realize that, you can just be the best you. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why Serena and her sister could last so long, and gentlemen done.
Federer, Nadal,
those
Djokovic.
guys, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, but that's how big mental is.
Right.
You know, if you can physically stay within, because most people fall off in sports physically.
Right.
30.
Right.
You know what I mean?
30.
Yeah.
You know, guys start getting the injuries, getting hooked up, but
And that's across the board.
That's
That's just in
across-
tennis.
no.
That's like basketball,
Yeah.
football, American football, baseball.
Your opinion? What should they do with Wild Man?
with who?
Wild Man.
Well,
The one that makes all the noise on the court is
Oh,
always arguing.
careless?
Yeah.
just let him be him.
Uh,
I mean, punish him when you need to, but
right.
I've learned through starting to come into leadership in the Bermuda with the tennis, because you're always like, why you guys can't be like, why you guys do what I'm, telling you to do,
Right.
or approach it like I do. But everyone is different.
Right.
Right.
So, he doesn't want to be Federer or Nadal or Djokovic.
Right.
If he wants to play video games instead of practice, after practice, that is, he still practices.
Right.
Then he wants to live his life and enjoy his life. So everyone needs to figure out their path.
Right.
And I think a lot of people say, oh, well, you could be this.
Right.
But what's got him to be him is being that. It's
Right.
the same thing as Monfils.
Yeah.
Was one of the greatest tennis athletes ever.
Yeah.
Now, he got a girl that was Russian, I think she's Russian, who put a lightning rod down his back
Right.
just with focus. And that's what you've seen recently.
Right.
But he's still him.
Yeah.
So you can only be who you are,
Yeah, yeah.
So,
He's got a short fuse as well.
Oh, real short.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of,
Okay.
You just got to be able to monitor, be yourself effectively, really, and do what you want to do, whatever, and enjoy it. Because if not, he might just quit.
Right.
And then everyone's going to be like, oh, well, we should have let him play video games every now and then.
You're right. Cool.
So coming this weekend, you have another attempt of having this. He's been rained out.
Bro,
It's pretty much been like netball, but
Yeah, we've had 2 straight rainouts. Last week,
yeah, it was last week Sunday. You got started.
We had everyone out. We had like 40 kids out in the rain. It's just that when it started to come down a little harder, all the parents,
Come.
took them in. I would have loved to just keep them out there, and as long as you put some dry clothes on after, you'd be all right. But that's another thing that's changed. Because back in the day, I was playing in the rain.
Right.
These type of things are, now we're very microsensitive to a lot of these type of things. So, but we will be having it this Sunday, rather permitting. Red Bull Festival, which is similar to what we said, it's a competition, but it's not based on competition. It's for 90% to leave, hopefully 100% to leave happy instead of 1%. So the goal when we have events, adult too, is more people leaving satisfied and happy and wanting to come back than just 1% leaving with trophies. So there's not even any trophies for this event.
Right.
All of the money that we have from the fees goes into the event,
Right.
Fun Castle, and whatever,
Yeah.
face painting. So we have all these things to make it a thing, and we're trying to change the perception of tennis in general. We want it to be something that you would say, oh, there's a Red Bull Festival. Even if they weren't playing, they should come down. It's a Fun Castle. All kids like Fun Castle.
Right.
It's true.
Even big kids.
Everyone. I'll jump on that thing if they let me. So that's what we're trying to do, and. Javon is big on board with all of that as well. He's someone that helps me, even with the coaching right now. He does a little coaching with me.
Right.
Helps me stay motivated, because we're brutally honest with each other. We've been working for a long time.
Right,
So,
right.
and we do that with everything. The Red Bull, if he had a quad and I had a quad and I saw something that I was like, come on, man, you know. So
Right.
we're just trying to get better so that we can be better for the Bermuda tennis
Right.
community, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck this weekend. Hopefully,
And where's it to
comes
again?
up.
Fairmont Southampton Tennis Club.
Yeah.
What time to get it underway?
It's 10 to 12:30.
Perfect timing, people. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
Only 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, you know, just make it shorter.
Yeah.
Come in, bing bang, have some fun,
and move
off,
on.
enjoy your Sunday.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, congratulations on being honored, and we look forward to hopefully a successful Sunday.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And we'll get back with you early part of the new year to see what you have in store for 2020 and beyond.
Sure.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. We take our last commercial break and we wrap it up and we come back.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Beeston.
Well, another Monday has gone by. I just want to thank our guests joining us in the studio today. It's a good topic of subjects regarding Inside Sports Talk Radio, from tennis to bodybuilding to Billy Goat Hill to Dave Fit for Life and Nutrition.
Billy Goat Hill and drugs.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Bays,
Water. Yeah.
Water. Oh,
we can get water. You know,
I'll tell you what, next time I do Billy Goat Hill, I want to give you well advance notice. I know you got a busy schedule on weekends. You will be informed.
Okay. All right.
Come and see.
Bring your stopwatch.
Bring your stopwatch. Do it all. All right. And yes, will be an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes down of walking first. Then we do Billy Goat Hill. Okay?
Mr. Rollins, listen to me.
I'm always listening to you.
It cannot be done.
All right. So
I don't care
we're gonna bet.
Unless you got one of those motorized paddle bikes.
Nope. It was a walk.
It was a walk. 3 minutes and 40.
3 minutes and 40 seconds.
3 minutes 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the top. Yeah.
To the top.
Yeah, man. So when it
You walked up Billy or Goat?
Both.
Okay.
Billy and the Goat.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We'll see.
And on the other side, we tell you we ended on the south side with the sign here. As we say, it's better go going the opposite.
Yeah.
I think I finished it in a total of 6 minutes and some change. So I'm talking about from going from one side to the next. It was like 6 minutes and some change.
Oh, okay. All right. I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. Because I can't prove you wrong, so I have to take your word for it.
Yeah. So I'm going to invite you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Cool.
On.
On.
All right. John Bassett.
Yes, sir.
All right. You want to come that day as well? I can hit you up as well.
I'll bring my camera. I'll bring my video camera. And
So we're
Listen,
talking about.
I'm going to tell you, Don,
Yeah.
bring popcorn and a bottle of water because it's going to be a while before he gets up there.
I think it's doable, you know. Think about it. It's doable.
Anything's possible.
It's doable.
Anything's possible.
So when I win,
He's going to see Patrick before he goes.
No,
Got
go wild.
Yeah, got a little something, something.
Got a little
Yeah, a little something, something, you know. And he can make it out of here.
Better than salad. Better than salad.
Yeah, he knows
Yeah.
that once this is done, he's going to have to give me a salad or something.
Yeah.
He
You got a
knows
little
it.
Kenyan in you. You got a little Kenyan in you, aren't you? I've been
Yeah.
getting caught up late, so yeah, you're right.
I still got a little speed in me. Yeah.
Okay.
Still got a little
All
speed in me.
right. Not a problem.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Enjoy your week.
Enjoy your week.
Inside Sports Talk Radio.